I'm Hassanel, and this is Nightline. The headlines. Navy helicopters crash. Interim report will be ready in 2 weeks. And PH fields young candidate Pang Sok Tau for Kuala Kubu Baru by-election. The headlining story. All 10 Royal Malaysian Navy officers who perished in the helicopter crash at the RMN base in Lumut, Perak were sent for burial at their respective hometowns and villages on Wednesday evening. The funeral prayers and final respects for 8 victims of the helicopter crash were carried out at the 23rd Malay Royal Regiment RAMD camp in Ipoh at about 6 p.m. The bodies of the Muslim victims arrived at the camp at 4:50 p.m. following the post-mortem process at the Raja Permaisri Bainun Ipoh Forensic Department before being bathed and shrouded. The funeral prayers for the Navy personnel were held at the camp's Surau Salahuddin Al-Ayubi, led by Lieutenant Colonel Ahmad Kamil Abdullah. An atmosphere of sorrow and sadness enveloped the ceremony with the presence of the victims' next of kin. After the ceremony, the remains were sent for burial to the respective locations requested by family members. Earlier, all 10 bodies of the accident victims were transported from the Forensic Department of Raja Permaisri Bainun Hospital, HRPB, using Royal Malaysian Navy and Royal Malaysian Air Force vans at 4:35 p.m. However, the bodies of the 2 non-Muslim victims were immediately taken home after departing from the Forensic Department of HRPB. Lieutenant T. Sivasutan and Able Seaman Ajowana Felicia Rohna were sent to their homes in Kampung Serdang, Siti Awan and Serian, Sarawak, respectively. The late Lieutenant T. Sivasutan, aged 31, who was one of the 10 RMN personnel who perished in the tragedy, was described as a good son who never refused his parents' requests. His father, 61-year-old M. Tanjapan, described how his son's passing not only separated them physically, but also took away their family's happiness. The late Sivasutan has just recently tied the knot with his wife, a dentist, on January 25th. The couple had previously been living apart, and they had just begun to experience married life after his wife, who had previously worked in Pulau Pinang, was able to move to Teluk Intan.
Ya, memang betul. Dia ada simbol. Saya kata simbol kegembiraan keluarga ni. Dia pemergian dia bukan jasa dia pergi. Segala keseronokan, segala kebaikan, segala kegembiraan dia bawa bersama. Itu saya kata.
Despite maintaining composure during media interviews, Tanjapan struggled to conceal his sorrow whenever visitors arrived. Tanjapan said that his son's passing was difficult to digest and the family would need some time to come to terms with it. On Tuesday, the couple had refused interview requests by the media. The late Sivasutan's body will be cremated at the Sungai Wangi Hindu Cemetery in Siti Awan on Thursday morning. Meanwhile, the late able seaman I. Joanna Felicia Rohna, who is originally from Kampung Sumpas Tampe in Serian, will be buried at her husband's home village in Kampung Engkaro, Tebakang. Her remains were transported using a C-130 aircraft, which departed from the Subang Air Base. Upon arrival at Kuching's RMAF Air Base on Wednesday night, her body is expected to be brought to the village on Thursday. It is understood that the family will also hold a prayer service for Joanna on Thursday night. The cabinet, meanwhile, has agreed to extend an initial aid of 10,000 ringgit to the families of the victims. In a statement, Defence Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Nordin said a special fund would also be established to facilitate public contributions to the families. He said all costs, including for flights and funeral arrangements, will be fully covered by the armed forces. Khalid also stressed that the inquiry board had been instructed to release an interim report on the crash within the next 2 weeks, followed by a full report within a month. In the meantime, the interim report on the tragedy will be ready within 2 weeks. Unity Government spokesman Fahmi Fadzil said this commitment was expressed by Defence Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Nordin at the Cabinet meeting on Wednesday.
Perdana Menteri telah mengutuskan ucap takziah dan Menteri Pertahanan telah memberi komitmen bahawa laporan interim akan disediakan dalam tempoh 2 minggu, manakala laporan penuh tentang kejadian akan diterbitkan ataupun disediakan dalam tempoh sebulan dari sekarang.
Fahmi, who is also the Communications Minister, said the Cabinet meeting, chaired by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim on Wednesday, began with a rather in-depth discussion about Tuesday's tragedy. Meanwhile, the Perak State Government is looking into the type of assistance that can be given to the 3 families of the victims of the tragedy who came from the state. State Exco A. Sivanesan said the matter will be discussed at the State Exco meeting next week. The victims from Perak were Lieutenant T. Sivasutan, Pegawai Waran 2 TMK, Muhammad Shahrizan Muhammad Termizi, and Pegawai Waran 2 TNL, Nur Farahimi Muhammad Saidi.
Kita akan bincang dalam Exco minggu depan apabila MB dah balik dan akan mengambil satu keputusan apakah jenis bantuan yang akan diulurkan daripada Kerajaan Negeri Perak untuk ketiga-tiga anggota mangsa ini. Bagi anak-anak Perak yang terkorban ini, secara khasnya Kerajaan Negeri Perak sentiasa akan bersama dengan keluarga mereka dan tetap akan menjaga mereka seperti apa yang kita buat waktu COVID-19.
He said the state government expressed condolences to the victims' next of kin and to remain strong and persevere in facing the difficult time. Sivasutan leaves behind a widow, while Shahrizan leaves behind a widow and 3 children, aged 15 to 21. Nur Farahimi leaves behind a husband and 3 children, aged 9 to 16. One of the victims in the crash, 41-year-old Warrant Officer 2 TMK Muhammad Shahrizan Muhammad Termizi, was laid to rest at the Batu 10 Lekir Muslim Cemetery on Wednesday night. Earlier, Shahrizan's remains were brought to his father's house in Taman Bunga Tanjung, Lekir, for family members to pay their last respects. The body was then laid to rest at 9:25 p.m. after another prayer was held at Masjid Al-Khairah Batu 10, Lekir, led by Imam 2 Muhammad Niza Muhammad. More than 500 people, comprising family members and local residents, attended the ceremony. The body of another victim, 41-year-old Warrant Officer 2 TNL Nur Farahimi Muhammad Saidi, arrived at the Jalan Ulu Nur Muslim Cemetery in Sungai Bayor, Selama, at around 7:40 p.m. She was laid to rest at around 9 p.m. The funeral was attended by about 500 individuals, consisting of family members, acquaintances of the victim, and RMN personnel. Meanwhile, in Pulau Pinang, the body of Commander Muhammad Firdaus Ramli was laid to rest at 8:20 p.m. at the Masjid Jamek Sungai Nibong Besar in Bayan Lepas. Speaking to the newsman after Firdaus's burial, his father, Ramli Abdul Hamid, in describing his son as a country hero and hero to the young people of Sungai Nibong, where Muhammad Firdaus was born and raised. He also expressed his gratitude for the love Malaysians have shown his late son. Earlier, Firdaus's coffin arrived at the Masjid Jamek Sungai Nibong Besar at 7:41 p.m. More than 1,000 people came to pay their last respects, some as early as 5 p.m. He leaves behind a wife, 4-year-old son, his parents, and 6 siblings. In Negeri Sembilan, the body of Lieutenant Commander Muhammad Amirul Faris Muhammad Marzuki arrived at his family home in Taman Senawang Perdana at around 9:05 p.m. The body was taken to the home of his father, 60-year-old Muhammad Marzuki Hassan, to allow family members, relatives, and close friends to pay their final respects to the deceased. After that, Amirul Faris's body was taken to the Taufiqiyah Mosque in Taman Pinggiran Senawang for funeral prayers, attended by around 500 people. The body was then taken to the Forest Heights Senawang Cemetery and was laid to rest at 10:05 p.m. The remains of Royal Malaysian Navy pilot, 37-year-old Lieutenant Commander Wan Rezauddin Kamal Wan Zainal Abidin, were safely laid to rest at the Raudatul Sakinah Muslim Cemetery in Gombak, Selangor at 9:50 p.m. His remains were brought from the Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi Mosque after prayers by the public and RMN personnel and arrived at the cemetery at 9:25 p.m. Almost 1,000 people, including Defence Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin, family members, RMN personnel, and Wan Rezauddin's acquaintances were present to pay their last respects. Earlier, his remains were brought from the 23rd Royal Malay Regiment in Ipoh to the National Mosque at 8:16 p.m. MACC arrest Perlis MB's son. The details when Nightline returns.
Terbaru ditonton.
Selamat datang ke markas Bantuan. KPI kami ni mudah saja. Menangkap saka dan juga menangkap tuan punya saka.
What can I do for you?
Boleh tak Tok Pawang tolong santau bini muda tu?
Ini memang selalu nampak kat TV. Biasa berlakon datuk-datuk kan?
Muat turun dan layan tonton sekarang. Semua favourite anda di sini.
Get ready, ladies. It's time to shatter the stereotype. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smiles. This talk show is all about you. Because your voice matters in Women Talk every Saturday at 5 p.m. live stream in HD on Tonton and only on TV3.
Malaysia hari ini sepanjang minggu.
Bagi penggemar makanan yang bercegerang, baru ini tulah tentang kupang. Tapi dengan cerita ada toksin. Apakah puncanya?
Kesan campuran bakas hilang kepada kucing. Adakah ia satu bentuk penganiayaan?
Tak habis lagi tentang isu skam pelaburan, tapi dengan cerita lelaki lebih banyak yang tertipu.
Soal wang membincangkan tentang akaun ketiga KWSP. Apa yang perlu kita cakna?
Isnin hingga Jumaat, 9.30 pagi hingga 10.30 pagi.
Di TV3 juga stream melalui Tonton.
Pakatan Harapan PH will field DAP's Pang Sok Tau for the May 11th Kuala Kubu Baru by-election. DAP Secretary General Anthony Look Siu Phuc said the decision to field Pang was finalized after considering all qualifications and experience possessed by Pang. The 31-year-old Pang is also the press secretary to local government minister Nga Kor Ming. Also present at the announcement in Kuala Kubu Baru on Wednesday night were key PH component leaders. Look said that Pang was selected to showcase the younger generation and a candidate that has the caliber to represent the unity government. The by-election triggered by the death of its incumbent Lee Ki-hyong on March 21st. The Election Commission has fixed May 11th for the by-election with nominations set for April 27th and early voting on May 7th. In the Selangor state election last year, Lee helped DAP to retain Kuala Kubu Baru after she pulled a majority of 4,119 votes in a four-cornered fight at the state seat. Perlis Menteri Besar Muhammad Shukri Ramli confirmed that he knew about his son being arrested by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, to assist its investigations into a false claim case totaling 600,000 ringgit. He said he will leave it to the graft busters to conduct their probe on the matter.
Berita daripada SPRM dan saya serah kepada budi bicara SPRM. Terima kasih. Okey? Itu saya jawablah. Ini tak tu.
Shukri said this when met by reporters after the Perlis State Assembly sitting in Kangar on Wednesday. Earlier, it was reported that the MACC remanded 6 men, including the son of a Menteri Besar, to assist investigations into a case of producing falsified documents for claims worth 600,000 ringgit. The claims were allegedly for works relating to several infrastructure development projects in Perlis since 2022, which were never carried out. 2 civil servants in the Menteri Besar's office and State Secretary's office, as well as 3 company contractors, were also among those detained. The suspected gunman in the Kuala Lumpur International Airport KLIA shooting would be taken to the Sepang Court complex to face more charges on Thursday. Early on Wednesday, travel agency manager Hafizul Hawari claimed trial to 7 charges before Judge Nik Habri Muhammad at the Kota Baru Sessions Court. For the first charge, framed under the Firearms Increased Penalties Act, the 38-year-old accused pleaded not guilty to illegally possessing a Glock pistol. He was also slapped with 2 additional charges under the Arms Act and Explosives Act for possessing bullets and firecrackers without a permit, respectively. The man also faces 3 charges under the National Registration Regulations for possessing 3 MyCards belonging to other individuals, and 1 charge under the Road Transport Act for using a fake vehicle registration number plate. He allegedly committed all of these offences in a Honda Civic car in the compound of a private hospital in Kota Baru on April 15th. No bail was granted for the first to the 3rd charges, but for the 4th to 7th charges, the judge allowed Hafizul to be released on 10,000 ringgit bail with 1 surety for each charge. The court also ordered that Hafizul be remanded in Sungai Buloh prison for the duration of the proceedings and set May 23rd for re-mention of all cases, document submission, and for the accused to appoint a lawyer. On April 14th, Hafizul allegedly fired 2 shots at his wife, who is also his business partner, at the airport's arrival hall, but missed. One of the shots hit her bodyguard, who is being treated in hospital. He fled the scene and was arrested in Kota Baru the next day. Police have busted a drug syndicate that smuggled up to 100 kilograms of ganja a week from Thailand. Authorities revealed that the syndicate, operating from a luxury condominium in Kuala Lumpur, has been using courier services to distribute drugs nationwide for the past 2 years. City Police Chief Datuk Rusdi Muhammad Isa said 8 suspects, including 2 women aged between 24 and 42, were nabbed in 6 separate raids conducted in Cheras and Pandan Indah between last Thursday and Tuesday. A total of 98 kilograms of ganja, valued at 293,830 ringgit, along with 34,000 ringgit in cash, were also seized during the raids. According to Rusdi, the syndicate used the Telegram application to contact the supplier and to sell the drugs in various forms, including brownie cakes, and in differing weights to buyers across Malaysia, including Sabah and Sarawak. He added that the suspects also employed individuals as runners to facilitate drug deliveries using local courier companies. It was also believed that the syndicate hid the drugs in the rabbit food packages to avoid detection by the courier company and authorities. 5 of the suspects have been remanded for 7 days until April 29th for further investigation under the Dangerous Drugs Act. However, 3 others were released as their remand applications were rejected. At least 6 houses in Lahadatus, Kampung Unta were destroyed in a fire early Wednesday. No one was injured in the blaze. According to the Fire and Rescue Department, it received a distress call at 7:40 a.m. 14 firemen on 2 engines from the Lahad Datu station were dispatched to the scene. The operation also involved the police, the Civil Defence Force, Sabah Electricity Sdn Berhad and Sabah Water Department. The firefighting team had to also use water from a nearby river. The fire was completely put out at 11 a.m. The cause of the fire and losses were being investigated. Indonesia's central bank delivers surprise rate hike. News from the foreign front when we return.
Kadang-kadang rasa macam nak berkira lah, Farin.
Nanti kalau tak berkira, kena pijak kepala pula.
Tapi kalau saya belanja awak menu daging, awak berkira tak?
Yang itu sedap. Ada rendang daging, ada opor daging.
Alamak, malulah nak bergaul.
Ini malu ke memilih sebenarnya?
Masalah betul kalau kahwin sorok-sorok tau.
Betul juga. Takut terkahwin dengan adik-adik.
Kalau pasangan kita salah, kita betulkan mereka.
Lebih baik dari kita mencari salah orang lain.
Semuanya di WHI TV3.
Dan stream di Tonton.
Malaysia hari ini sepanjang minggu.
Bagi penggemar makanan yang bercegerang, baru ini tulah tentang kupang. Tapi dengan cerita ada toksin. Apakah puncanya?
Kesan campuran baka silang kepada kucing. Adakah ia satu bentuk penganiayaan?
Tak habis lagi tentang isu skam pelaburan. Tapi dengan cerita lelaki lebih banyak yang tertipu.
Soal wang membincangkan tentang akaun ketiga KWSP. Apa yang perlu kita cakna?
Isnin hingga Jumaat, 9.30 pagi hingga 10.30 pagi.
Di TV3 juga stream melalui Tonton.
The foreign news. Indonesia's central bank hiked interest rates on Wednesday to their highest for 7 years, an unexpected move to boost the rupiah, which continues to weaken against the dollar despite several interventions in currency markets. Bank Indonesia, BI, raised the 7-day reverse repurchase rate by 25 basis points to 6.25%, its highest since the bank made the instrument its main policy rate in 2016. Its governor, Peri Warjio, said that the hike in interest rate is to strengthen the rupiah's exchange rate against the risk of a worsening global risks. BI also increased the overnight deposit facility and lending facility rates by the same amount to 5.50% and 7% respectively. The announcement came as Indonesia's Election Commission declared Prabowo Subianto as the country's 8th president on Wednesday, after the Constitutional Court shot down challenges to his first-round majority victory. The U.S. Senate has passed a long-delayed multi-billion-dollar aid package for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan, paving the way for new weapons deliveries to Kyiv as soon as this week. The Democratic-controlled Senate passed the measure, held up for months by right-wing Republicans, by 79 votes to 18 late on Tuesday night in the U.S. It includes $61 billion in military aid for Ukraine, which the Pentagon said can start being delivered to the war-torn nation within days. The foreign aid package also includes $26.4 billion of military support for Israel and humanitarian aid for Gaza, while a further $8.1 billion has been earmarked for allies in the Asia-Pacific, including Taiwan, to counter communist China. The four bills were combined into one package in the Senate, which President Joe Biden said he would sign into law on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the U.S. Senate has approved a controversial landmark bill that could see TikTok banned in America. The new law gives ByteDance a year to sell TikTok to a U.S.-based company, or the app will face a total ban from American app stores. This came after U.S. and other Western officials have voiced alarm over the popularity of the application with young people, alleging it allows Beijing to collect data and spy on users. TikTok, however, has insisted it has not shared American users' data with the Chinese government and that it never would. The bill, which was part of the $95 billion foreign aid package, is also set to be signed by Biden on Wednesday. The Zionist regime intensified its strikes across Gaza on Wednesday, in some of the heaviest shelling in weeks, as the army ordered fresh evacuations in the north of the enclave. In southern Gaza's Rafah, at least 3 members of a family have been killed after an Israeli military strike hit their home, while 4 other Palestinians were killed when an Israeli strike hit a group standing outside a supermarket in the Al-Nusayrat refugee camp. The regime also focused their bombardment in northern Gaza's Beit Lahia for a second day, where the military ordered tens of thousands of Palestinians to immediately flee the area. Shelling was also intense east of Beit Hanun and Jabalia and continued in areas such as Zaytun. Gaza's health ministry said at least 79 Palestinians were killed and 86 injured in the Zionist attacks for the past 24 hours. Young Tiger. Low note. Sports after this breather.
Get ready, ladies. It's time to shatter the stereotype. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smiles. This talk show is all about you. Because your voice matters in Women Talk every Saturday at 5 p.m. live stream in HD on Tonton and only on TV3.
Malaysia hari ini sepanjang minggu.
Bagi penggemar makanan yang bercegerang, baru ini tulah tentang kupang. Tapi dengan cerita ada toksin. Apakah puncanya?
Kesan campuran baka silang kepada kucing. Adakah ia satu bentuk penganiayaan?
Tak habis lagi tentang isu skam pelaburan, tapi dengan cerita lelaki lebih banyak yang tertipu.
Soal wang membincangkan tentang akaun ketiga KWSP. Apa yang perlu kita cakna?
Isnin hingga Jumaat, 9.30 pagi hingga 10.30 pagi.
Di TV3 juga stream melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports. Football, the 2024 AFC U23 Asian Cup. National Under-23 head coach Juan Torres Garrido admitted that his team failed to perform to his expectations after the Young Tigers failed to get a single point from 3 matches.
Of course, our expectations were different, and it's difficult to define because when it comes to performance, my analysis is one. When it comes to the results and what's happening in the games is a bit different, but it's all together, so cannot be good, and we need to apologize to the fans because we didn't reach the level we wanted to.
The national squad lost 1-2 to Kuwait on Tuesday, and it all started when goalkeeper Sheikh Izan Sheikh Azman was sent off in the 45th minute following a foul on Kuwait skipper Salman Al-Awadi outside the box. Malaysia fell behind at the end of the extended first half by 15 minutes through a penalty converted by Salman, before Talal Al-Qaisi doubled their lead on the hour mark by heading home Sultan Al-Faraj's corner kick. Muhammad Hakimi Azim Rosli pulled one back 3 minutes later, but the Young Tigers could not find the equaliser and succumbed to a 1-2 loss to Kuwait. With the defeat, Malaysia lost all 3 matches in Group D, conceding 6 goals and scoring only 1 goal. In another match, Uzbekistan showed they will be a team to be reckoned after an emphatic 3-0 win over Vietnam, finishing the Group D with maximum points. The 2018 champions took the lead just 4 minutes into the game when Alisher Odilov tapped home a brilliant cross from close range. Ruslan Bakjianov doubled their lead in the 36th minute with a superb shot into the bottom left corner. Odilov then put the game to bed 4 minutes later by heading home Saida Zalmat Mirsaidov's cross, sealing a comfortable 3-0 win for Uzbekistan. The White Wolves have yet to concede in the campaign, and they will face Saudi Arabia in the quarterfinals. A delightful Idul Fitri open house at its headquarters in Padang, Jawa. The event was officiated by Deputy Transport Minister Datuk Hasbi Habibullah. Also present were Selangor RTD Director Azrin Borhan and his Deputy Datuk Ahmad Kamaruzaman Mahat. I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for tuning in, and be well, Malaysia.